Hey guys, hey internet, come and watch us draw and talk the Mothman as we explore cryptids worldwide. So welcome back to day 19 of 31 days of exploring cryptids worldwide, where we explore cryptids, legends, and myths from all around the world. If this is your first video that you're seeing and you want to start from the very beginning, I will leave a link to the playlist down below, and if not, onward to the Mothman.
Mothman is a cryptid hailing from the United States in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. This cryptid is described as a large bird with red eyes, looking more like a humanoid owl. This creature can be black and gray in color to even brown. It's 7 feet in tall with a wingspan of 10 to 15 feet wide and the ability to fly over 100 miles per hour. The first recorded Mothman sighting took place on November 12, 1966, near Clendenin, West Virginia, where 5 men were in a cemetery preparing a grave for a burial when they saw something they couldn't explain. Lifting off from the nearby trees was a brown-winged creature. The men held to the fact that what had lifted off beyond the trees was no bird, it was a humanoid. The creature was sighted in many places across West Virginia and surrounding states, but the largest number of sightings happened near Old West Virginia Ordnance Works, an area known to locals as the TNT area. An igloo in the TNT area, built thick to prevent chain explosions from the barreled gunpowder inside the West Virginia Ordnance Works, is an abandoned munitions to the north of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, that dates back to World War II. The facility during its operation manufactured ammunition and dynamite. The surrounding areas is mostly forested, dotted with numerous grassy clearings and thick concrete domes called igloos that were used to store barrels of gunpowder. The area is also riddled with abandoned tunnels, most of which have collapsed and been sealed off or become flooded with water. A wildlife sanctuary, McClintock Wildlife Management, now encompasses the area. But in 1979, fishermen in the TNT area reported that chemicals had been left to seep into the ponds, causing it to be labeled an environmental disaster. By the year 1983, the TNT area was among the country's most polluted sites. It was here in the TNT area on one cold night on November 15, 1966, 3 days after the first sighting took place, that 2 young couples encountered this bizarre creature. Roger and Linda Scarberry were driving in Roger's black 57 Chevy Bel Air with Steve and Mary Ballett through the area around midnight when Linda noticed unbelievably 2 large glowing red eyes in the darkness beside the old North Point power plant and screamed. They soon learned that these eyes belonged to something that looked frankly human, about 7 feet tall with a wingspan folded against its back. Rogers stalled in the road a minute, inspecting the strange creature. The 4 realized immediately that their spectacle was no ordinary bird. The true horror began, however, when the creature spread its wings and pursued them down Highway 62 to the Point Pleasant city limits at speeds exceeding 100 miles per hour. Mothman sightings have been associated with at least 2 other cryptids, giant thunderbirds with gray bodies and red heads that were sighted in the same area at the same time by a few witnesses, and owlman, which is identical to the creature with wings and red eyes sighted in Cornwall, England in 1976. Sheriff George Johnson, who the original witnesses contacted, believed the Mothman may be a very large heron. Wildlife biologist Dr. Robert L. Smith of West Virginia University thought the Mothman was a sandhill crane, which the newspaper then reported on, but the witnesses completely disagreed. Skeptic Joe Nichols posited owls as an explanation because their eyes shine and their silhouette resembles the headless Mothman. Most modern skeptics seem to agree with Joe Nichols, but sightings might just be too extraordinary to attribute them to just such an animal. 2 legends from Shawnee lore mention creatures closely resembling the Mothman, Dean Misigwa and the Wape. In the legend of the Misigwa, Descriptions of the Mothman is indeed similar to Bigfoot by the ceremonial dress used in the bread dance, and the Wape legend is also similar in that it's part of the Shawnee lore, and that a family of Native Americans chose to become White Hawks living in the forest near Point Pleasant. Some believe the Mothman may be an angel or a demon, or the product of a blood curse placed upon the town by Chief Cornstalk, who was murdered along with his son in the area. Similarly, the curse theory is one very attached to the collapse of the Silver Bridge.
Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed learning about the Mothman. If you did, then definitely hit the like button down below and subscribe to find out which cryptid we end up exploring next from around the world this Inktober. If this is your first video that you're seeing of mine, my name's Alethea. I go by the artist name Inkeater. I love drawing portraits and creatures from my imagination and bringing things to life, and sometimes we do talk about music. If that's totally your thing, then definitely hit the subscribe button down below, and if not, no worries. I hope you guys are doing awesome. Bye!
Whatever it is that you believe you're seeing, it's not real.
Seeing things before they happen. Things are not always what they seem in this place. So you can't take anything for granted.